It's great to see you.
Thank you.
You will never remember this, but you and I met at the Chester Fritz Auditorium in Grand Forks, North Dakota, when you performed, probably was 1984-ish, 85-ish.
Wow.
Yeah. So
we're a little older now, aren't we?
But this is the 30th anniversary? 40th anniversary?
40th anniversary of God Bless the USA.
40th year.
Yeah, 40 years.
Yeah, I wrote it in 1979, and it was Song of the Year in 1985 at the Country Music Association. But, of course, events in history brought it to the forefront more times than any other song ever written.
This is also the 40th anniversary of Ronald Reagan's convention.
Yes.
That was the first convention you were at, and you sang God Bless America there, right?
1984 was my first RNC. I've sang six RNCs. This is my sixth.
When you first recorded this song, did you ever think it would become what it's become?
No, and it's easy for me to say no, because when I wrote that song, it was in the middle of my touring life that was so hectic. We were doing 300 days a year as I joined the label in Nashville at MCA with Reba McEntire, George Strait, the Oak Ridge Boys, Barbara Mandrell, and we did every doghouse, outhouse, and roundhouse. and so it was difficult to write, not only write, but get home for the photo sessions, because in those days we were making albums. And the big 33 1/3 picture on the front, the photo sessions were more laborsome than the recordings. The recordings were fun. Photo sessions were terrible. But yes, and now that 40 years later, we actually are releasing American Patriot. That's my CD that I did in 1992. It has all America songs on it. God Bless the USA is one of them. But America the Beautiful, God Bless America, which many people refer to instead of my song because they can't decipher the difference, and This Land Is Your Land, and all of the other American songs that we love. During my father's year in the Navy, by the way, who joined the Navy in 1941, right after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, and I was born in 42, so raised on a farm in Sacramento, California. That's how I began my life, my career as an artist and a musician. And I left home at 16, went to Nevada, and spent 20 years there in the casinos before I got my country life, which I moved to Tennessee then. And that's how that life sort of manifested in my head about the love for America. I started touring the country. I'd never seen the whole country before. And then suddenly it came to me to write God Bless USA.
And you mentioned Ronald Reagan was the first beneficiary of your talents at that convention 40 years ago. Talk about how Donald Trump has taken this to a whole new level with that wonderful work of yours.
Yeah, interesting. I had assumed, of course, I worked for several presidents prior, one of whom was George Bush 41, who I loved dearly, his son 43, and after the Obama years, and I figured, well, I don't think God Bless USA will probably have a place anymore other than for my military. And I love doing USO tours. We've done 16 or 17 of those USO tours. I even toured with Bob Hope before he retired. I did a around the world, 8 days, 8 shows, 25,000 miles. And God Bless USA was still alive and doing well during that period of time. But as Donald Trump began to run for, I already knew him. My wife worked for him for 21 years because she was a director for the Miss USA pageant in 3 states. And when he sold Miss USA, Miss Universe, to William Morris, then we already knew President Trump to be President Trump. He was Donald Trump then. And I never did The Apprentice. My friend John Rich and a couple others did. I never got invited to The Apprentice, but I knew there was a place for me to be with Donald Trump soon in the future, but I did not know that. And so when he began to do his rallies and starting using my song, there was a lot of conversation from the media. Well, should you allow him? Should you not allow him? You know, he never asked, and I never said anything. I said, I'm a conservative Christian. I believe Donald Trump is the best person to run this country. He's going to go to Washington, D.C. and change things. And then when his inauguration came up, he asked me to sing for him. I did at the Lincoln Memorial. And then after that, it was like he continued to use the song. So then, fast forward the next election campaign, here we go again. And now I started singing for him live because I believe it's the right thing for me to do.
Last night was, as a guy that's been watching politics since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, and really my love of the conservative cause was shaped under Ronald Reagan, going back to the start of your song. But I've never seen anything like or heard anything like what happened. What was it like for you to be performing that song when literally the roof was lifted from people seeing the president for the first time since the assassination attempt?
We were supposed to sing tonight. Is this live? Are we live?
Yep.
We were supposed to sing tonight, and we will sing tonight. And I'll sing again at Brewer Stadium tomorrow in the afternoon for that big rally. But we weren't supposed to be in Milwaukee yet. We were coming in Monday night. And Trump's team reached out to ours and said, Trump is going to make an appearance after the assassination attempt to prove that he is still strong. We want you in Milwaukee now. So we adjusted our schedule. We came in early Monday morning. We had a sound check that afternoon. And then, of course, last night I was fully prepared to make sure that not just the RNC, not just the United States, but the rest of the world who were watching it on all the media knew that Donald Trump was alive. He was defiant. He was courageous. And he wanted to make sure he made an appearance immediately, unlike the response from the White House, by the way, by him being shot and not to respond for quite a few hours, which was insane. That's the insensitive part of Joe Biden and the administration currently, not to respond immediately to him being attempted to be assassinated. That just blew me away that they waited so long to make some kind of a response. And he'd already said there's going to be a bullseye on Donald Trump, and then he backtracked on that and said, "Well,
they didn't say crosshairs."
Yeah, I didn't mean bullseye. But you know what? If you look at the January 6th insurrection, if President Trump was guilty of inciting the crowd, then you don't think that President Biden was insensitive about saying there's a bullseye on his back, and then the next thing he gets assassination attempt. I think they sound just alike to me, don't you?
You do. You've nailed it. There's no question about it. And last night, all that emotion, all that fear, all that concern for him went away. We saw him for the first time. Your songs being, belted out to the rafters. I mean,
from where I was standing on the bandstand, he was directly across from me, so I could see when he started coming down the stairs. His family was already in place, and when he walked down the stairs for the first time with the choice of the VP, Vance from Ohio, that was the moment when he said to me prior, "You choose your moment," and then introduced me. The House had already introduced to the audience, but they didn't know where he was coming from. And they showed on the camera, but they didn't know where it was. And as soon as I saw him on the stairs, that was my moment. And so if there's anything I'm good at, it's not. I don't think I'm the greatest talent. I don't think I'm the best writer or a musician, and I've been a musician since I was 12 years old. I think it's emotion is my best gift. And so just saying things the way I did, and in order to get the crowd to rise up. There's a line in The Gladiator. Do you remember the Gladiator movie where the old gladiator turns to Russell Crowe and he says, "Win the crowd, you win your freedom." And I remember that so well because I perform at stadiums with hundreds of thousands of people. And sometimes you walk on the field, on a football field or soccer field, whatever, and it's like the Christians and the Lions. If you don't do something great, they're going to eat you, And so I always think about that. And like last night, I thought about that. These words I say are more important than the words I will sing. And so I wanted to say exactly the right thing. And right at the end, I saw Donald smile a little bit, President Trump smile. And then I saluted him, and he saluted me, which he always does when I'm on stage with him. So
absolutely
it was so
amazing.
much fun.
Iconic moment. I don't know how it ever could be replaced. It was really great, and you made it happen. God bless you for all you do. You've been to Military Appreciation Night for our local FM Redhawks before. You've been all over the globe doing this. So God bless you for doing what you're doing. It's a ministry. Speaking of which, get the God Bless the USA Bible.
Yes.
Where can we get that?
I think it's important to note that in this King James Version of the Bible, I've included documents that include the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, the Pledge of Allegiance, and my own handwritten version of God Bless USA. So you can get it at GodBlessTheUSABible.com. GodBlessTheUSABible.com. King James Version of this Bible. Donald Trump also has it.
God bless you.
Thank you.